So as you know, I don't do a lot of this sort of thing, setting up my laptop and setting up the computer and doing tutorials, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. Now I've loaded up my photos in Neo, Luminar Neo, and I've loaded up all the photos from today. I started up a test folder, as you can see on the left, and I've got a Neo test folder as well. Now these are my photos I took today. I'm going to be looking at things like this where they're really quite dark and shabby, and I want to see if I can pull out some sort of detail and make them look a bit gooder. So first of all, I'm going to find myself an image. I'm going to go right down to the end, because I know that at the end of the images is where we set up a few pictures, and I said, you know, it'd be interesting to see what I can make of them. All these images you would have probably already seen already. Used this program before, this is the first time. So what we're going to want to do with something like this is to bring out the wall that's leading up there, and I just like the style on the left hand side, and I liked it leading off. It's just a bit of a minimal shot. So I'm going to move the camera around so it's facing me. I'm going to pop it up on the screen, and I'm going to go into edit and try the edit suite. So here we go, we're in the edit suite. This is where we want to be, so I'm just going to pause it there, get the camera reset up, and let's see what we can do with this. Right, so I want you to know that I'm very new to this, and I've never used this before. I had an old Luminar a few years ago, but I never really got into using it. So I just want to assure you that I don't know what I'm doing with this, and this could be a right experiment. Now I'm going through the folder. I've added a folder, Luminar Neo test, and you'll see all the images that I've been taking today of the erratics. And I want to come down to the end, which is where I started to do the Luminar photos, and there should be a picture of a wall on here somewhere, and these are all raw images, and as you can see it's picking up all the raw images. I found a nice little heart as well for the wife, isn't that nice? Hopefully here, I'm running on my laptop so it might be a little bit slow, I'm not sure how quick this is going to go. I'm hoping to pick up a picture of a wall. Oh, isn't this always the way when you're trying to do something? It's going very slow. I'm struggling here, trying to get my computer to work fast enough, and I absolutely hate doing these sort of things because nothing ever works properly. See, look, I've got blank screens again now. I'm trying to find an image to start with to work on. I tell you what, let's go with this one. Let's pick this image and let's work on this. Edit. So what have we got in the edit suite? We've got an image. You can see the sky is quite blown out. I was only taking single shots and I wasn't really concentrating on what I was doing earlier on. So in the actions down the bottom, so popped up here we've got crop. So we can open the crop up, and you can see you can get a way of cropping, which is very simple and easy to do. Let's close that. We've then got essentials. Now I've never seen this before. This is brand new for me. So I'm just going to have a quick rundown and see what they do. So develop is like Lightroom, where you do your developing. You basically your highlights, shadows, smart contrast. You can pick profiles, which I've got no profiles set up in there, so it's pointless me using them. We've also got black and white, curves. Curves are really good for setting up a bit of contrast. So let's do a basic highlights down, shadows up a little bit. Let's bring the highlights right down, shall we? A little bit of smart contrast, just to see what that makes a difference. And then we're going to curves, and we're just going to put 2 points in there, and we're just going to pull the blacks down a little bit and lift the highlights. So it's just going to give us a slight S curve, which will give us a bit more contrast. Colors. It's color temperature. We don't really need to adjust the color temperature, but we could just add a little bit of warmth to it. We don't need any more saturation. We've got white balance. We've got different white balances in there we can choose, like you can in Lightroom and Photoshop and other stuff, other places like that. We've got sharpening tool, so let's whack up a bit of sharpening, bring up the mask. I don't know how to operate the mask on this. Pressing Alt, Function, Shift. I'm not sure which gives you the mask. I'll have to find that one out. And we'll drop the radius right down as well, so there's a little bit of sharpening in there. Like I said, I'm just testing this. Noise reduction we don't need. Optics don't need. We've got transform. That's going to be twisting it and bending it probably. My computer's running very, very slowly. You have to excuse me. Not ideal. Not ideal working on a computer that's running this slowly. Right, so let's close the develop down. We've got enhance. Oh, now it's going back. So we've got enhance. So we've got accent. Let's pump the accent up, see what that does. Oh, it makes it very contrasty. It's like a structure type of one, that is. So you don't want too much of that. Just only have a little bit. What I'd like to do is bring the sky down, lift this foreground up, and bring the tree out a little bit. We've got sky enhancer. Let's pump that up, see what that does. That's quite nice. That brings the sky back down. It enhances the sky. Quite like that. And then we've got masking, brush, luminescent. Oh, excuse me, linear and radial. And we've got an AI mask. Oh, look, AI magic. It's doing something. It's got AI magic. Look at all this. It's, as you move the mouse around, it's like some sci-fi movie. It's detecting what's going on in the image. Let's see what it comes up with. While I'm here, I'll just let you know that I've run out of gas earlier on, so I've got my little gas stove. It's a good job I use a spare gas stove in the boot. I've run out of gas. If anyone knows where I can get a 4.5 kilogram gas refill, please let me know, because I can't get one anywhere at all. Right, this has done what it's doing. So we've got some little key features. It says ground, natural ground, mountains, architecture, floral, and sky. So if we click on sky, oh, I see, it masks the sky. How do we untick it? Don't know. So can we untick it? Go back? Ah, right, okay. It's just what my computer's going. So let's click floral. I'm assuming it's going to, when it feels like it, it's going to pick up the tree. Ah, we go. It's picked up the tree for floral. So if we're on floral, does that mean I can then go into adjustments and just adjust the tree? I can't see with my computer the way the speed it's working. This should be a really fast computer. I've not had this long, and I'm quite disappointed by it. I think I got ripped off. I'm not sure what it's doing. I'm taking it that you go into there, you go back into AI mask, and you can do some adjustments. Let's pump it all the way to the top. I go right to the top. Yeah, it's doing something on the floral now. I can see the difference. So it's only acting on the floral part of it. So yeah, that gives you some masks to work with. Okay, erase. What does erase do? Select size. So that's me brush size. I can see it opening and closing. So let's pick on a stone or something, or a spot. Let's pick on that spot there. See what it does. I'm assuming it's going to, like a content aware type of thing. I've selected it. Okay, what about erase? Click erase. It's doing something. It's thinking about it. It's still thinking about it. So it's got rid of that spot. It's a content aware, and it actually looks quite good. Quite clever. So okay, we know what erase does. Object removal removes power lines, dust spots. Well, what happens if we hit the dust spots? I don't think I've got any dust spots on the camera, but it looks like it does an automatic dust spot removal, which is pretty good, and an automatic power line removal. That sounds interesting if you've got power lines in the background. Dust spots removed. There you go. Gone, if there was any in there. Right, next. Structure. Now structure is normally quite a gritty look, so we'll whack that up, see what it does. Yes, it is. It's structure is exactly what it says it is, and then boost is going to boost the structure. And again, you've got masking on the structures. Again, you can do the same thing, mask them. Colours, black and white, detail, adjusting detail, small details. Let's adjust some small details, make it a bit gritty. Oh, I like that. I like that in the rocks. So I like it in the rocks, but I don't like it in the sky. So if we bring a mask down and go for a linear gradient, if I go up with that from the bottom, does that give me masking for the details, or am I the other way around? I'm not quite sure what it's doing. Linear, mask up, and then so everything, so it goes, it's 100% to this line and 0 on this line, so anything in the middle is a gradient. So I'm assuming that you can grade the gritty bits from the bottom up, but I don't know how it works. That's top to bottom, bottom to top, invert it, masking. So we bring the masking back down and go to adjustments. Is that just adjusting in the bottom? It's still adjusting the top as well, isn't it? So I'm not quite sure how to actually set the masks up. Okay, fair enough. It's something I need to look at, work on how to set up a mask. Linear, brush. So if we brush a mask, it's quite tricky. You've got to erase, so you can erase a mask. Ah, I see, you can erase the mask. Alright. So the grittiness is in the bottom but not in the top, so we need to paint that back in. So that's using a brush, you can paint that back in, and using the erase we can take the mask off, which should be sort of around the countryside and that, and up in this section up here, because you only really want it on the rocks. So okay, that's fair enough. Right, let's go to denoise is obvious. Landscape, what does landscape do? Dehaze. Alright, that would probably work well if you've got a hazy background. Let's have a look right in the background, see if it makes any difference to that. It does a little bit, yeah. It does a little bit. Golden hour, let's pump up the golden hour. It gives it a very much a warmer texture. It's quite nice. Foliage enhance, so let's whack that right up as well, see what that does. Oh, it's almost like a green popper. Pops out the old greens. Don't need that on the Fuji, do we? Right, so let's go down, and we've got a vignette as well, so let's give it a strong vignette. That's a light one and a dark one. Always like a bit of vignette in, and then we've got size as well, haven't we? Advanced adjustment, we've got the roundness setting. So if we go to smaller size, let's make it really dark so we can see what we're doing. So we've got a roundness setting, makes it rounder and more oval, and we've got a feather, which obviously feathers it out or makes it really sharp, which you'd never ever want. And we've got inner lightness, so we can actually bring up the brightness in the center rather than the outside. So let's take the vignette back down to a little bit, and we toggle that on and off. I see it, toggle it on and off, just brings your eye to the center of the screen a little bit. So creative, what have we got in the creative section? Relight near, let's pull that right up. What does that do? Let's go to 100% brightness near. There we go, here we go. So you can see it's lighting the foreground up tremendously. Looks like the sun's shining on the foreground. Brightness far, let's drop the brightness far down then. So brightness far, and then the depth was going to control how far into the image it works. So I'm not sure I like that. Let's put them back to 0. The only one I probably like is a little bit of the brightness front. Just bring a little bit of brightness down here in the foreground, I think. Quite like the idea of that. And again, you've got masking in there as well, but we need to learn how to use the masking. Sky, what have we got in sky? Sky selection, masking. So right, sky selection, what does this do? Now you can pick the skies. So you can pick a sky, and it will change the sky. Now this is cheating, and I don't need to change the sky really. I really don't. Now I know you can get different packages for these skies, but in this image I don't need to. But we have got we've got a sunset sky. So let's have a look and see what happens if you add a sunset sky to this image. You can see the sky's changed from the last one I just picked. Haha, that's quite good, isn't it? It's quite clever. Put a sunset sky in there, just something a bit different if you really wanted to change your image, and the look of your image is pretty good. Atmosphere, what does atmosphere do? Fog. Can we add fog to the image? Oh, aye. So you can add fog to the image. That'll be pretty good at some point as well. We certainly don't need it in this image, do we? But let's leave a little bit of atmosphere in there. And you've got depth control as well. Sun rays, amount of sun rays. Where do we put the sun rays? Oh, look, sun rays coming through the trees. Amount. You can adjust the amount. You can overall. Can we move where it's going? Presentation. Wow, that's really cool. I like that. That gives it something else to look at, doesn't it? Sun setting, radius, blah blah blah. Sun ray settings, randomize, warmth. So you can warm the setting up. So sun ray warmth, warm it up so it looks like it's a setting sun. That's very good. I like that. I know it's cheating. Place sun center. Now we can move the sun center in between the tree. Look at that. Yes, that's cool. I like that. Just gives a little bit of dimension. I know it's cheating, but sometimes, you know, you might want to dynamic. What does dynamic do? Let's pump the ooh, that's harsh. You might want a little bit of dynamics in an image, but hey ho. Mood. Amount of mood. 100%. What are you going to give me for mood? What are you going to give me for mood? I don't actually see what it's doing. Not quite sure what it's doing. Choose LUT. Download LUT. Custom LUT. Long Beach. Oh, these are the different looks, are they? Riverside. Right. What about backfield? So these are different moods and looks you can have. Manhattan. Yeah, okay. Toning. So we can obviously tone the image. So we've got shadows and highlights for toning. I'm not going to mess with that one. Matte. This gives it a matte look, does it? You know me, I like a bit of matte look in my images. I do like a little bit of the old matte style. Mystical. What does mystical do? Yeah, we like a bit of mystical, don't we? Everyone likes a little bit of mystical in their image. Glow. Let's whack a bit of glow in there. Ooh, too much glow, too much glow, too much glow. Let's take that back off. We don't need glow in there. Autumn effect. Nice little bit of autumn effect. Can we pump that up a little bit? That's nice. I like the nice little bit of autumn effect. And then we've got film grain. We can touch a little bit of film grain in there. Now I know that this is not my image, and I know it's a fake, and I know it's a fraud, but it just goes to show what you can do in there. Now when you go into portraits, you've got portrait bokeh, you've got face effects, skin effects. Now I'll come back to them another time, but I just wanted to have a look and see what this actually does. And I can toggle it on and off. That's the before, that's after. So before and after. Completely different looking image. Now I know it's fake, I know it's not real, I know it's a bit of a fun way of doing things, but I just wanted to have a quick look into this and show you what can be done, what effects we can actually make, and I think that's quite fun. I think the fact that that tree was quite a flat looking tree, I've changed the sky, I put some light rays in there, put a bit of contrast, a bit of grit in the stones, and I actually think that's a really cool looking image. Alright, the sunburst is a little bit too much, there's maybe too much light coming through, but if you didn't have an image like that and you wanted to create an image like that, that is the way to do it. So yeah, my first impression of Luminar Neo is it's going to be fun. It's a fun editing suite rather than a deadly serious editing suite. If you've got photographs that aren't quite right, if they're flat skies and not the mood's not there, this is obviously way to go and have a look at it. Now I'm going to try a couple more while I'm sitting here, see what I can come up with, and yeah, see you on the next one. Ciao for now, see you soon, and I will do a little bit more research. Battery died on my camera, sorry about that. Yes, ciao for now, thank you very much. I'm going to do some more research on the Luminar Neo, and I'm going to learn it a little bit more. I'm going to try and use it a bit more. I think I'm going to integrate it into my workflow a little bit, because I like these effects, and sometimes I get an image that's not great and I want to sort of pump it up a little bit, and I think this is going to be really good fun to use. So see you soon, ciao for now. Any comments, anything you want to know, let me know.